Hello, YouTubers. Hello, everybody. I'm live. All right, TikTok's ready. I'm just going to start TikTok right now. What the hell's that? The hell is that? The hell is that? Oh, how bizarre. Okay, very weird. Anyway, all right, go live. TikTok's putting new things on my screen, and I'm like, no idea what it is. All right, here we go. All right. Woo woo. All right, there we go. Flip the camera. We are good. Remove background noise. I don't need that. I've got a good microphone. I should not need background noise. I'm just looking that like there's additional settings that I've not seen here before. Hear your voice. Nope. Comment settings. Nope. Okay, we're good. All right. All right. Anyway, hello, Ash. Thank you for that. Hello, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. Happy Tuesday, September 9th. It's still freaking me out. Summer's over. This went by way too quickly. Like, oh well. Anyway, still got my summer cup. So welcome everybody. I'm John Aravosis. As you know, we're here to talk about the latest news from Washington, from Ukraine, a little bit of everything, a little Israel, Qatar news as well. Some Supreme Court news, some Jeffrey Epstein news, lots of different news. It's actually interesting. It's an interesting news day, I would say, actually. Thank you, Annie, for the gift. I would say so there. What else? Just do make sure to follow me. Actually, mods, try to maybe help because I always forget to ask people to follow me. So at least on, well, YouTube as well, but YouTube and TikTok both. Just occasionally remind them because I never do and I really should. It's the 9th. Remember, if you're on TikTok, they are, thank you, Denise. Thank you, Rosie, for the gifts. Thank you, Mushu. They're changing the subscriptions on TikTok, remember. So they're changing the subscriptions and making them like $9.99. It's not my choice, but so they're going to, I think you get 3 months that it doesn't go up and then it goes up. So be aware of that if you subscribe. You know, I'm sorry, it's not my choice. They're doing it. There's only one price range. That's it, or one price. Hey, Bjorn in Sweden. Otherwise, on TikTok, we've got now the wishes, I guess they're called. Thank you, Bjorn. Thank you, Richard. They're called wishes, where basically you can buy one of these gifts and I will do a thing that's mentioned. Like I will get the goat to scream. I will put on the Trump wig. I will sing happy birthday for the hell. I like that reindeer thing. Oh, it's a forest elf. I thought it was a reindeer. Somebody got that the other day. Thank you, Cheryl. I just think it's pretty, like the blue and everything else too. It's very pretty. Thank you, Martin. Ask me anything for, I think, the meteor shower. I think that's what that is. And then telling a UN story. I can't tell what that is, but whatever it is. And the mods will help me to try to remember that you actually did buy the right gift. All right, let's get rolling, guys. Supreme Court. U.S. Supreme Court today agreed to hear the Trump tariff proposal legislation. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Emily. The Jets. That's what they are. The Jets. Yep, the Jets are a UN story. I have to think of more of my UN stories. I don't know if I've got stories I haven't told you at this point. Oh, thank you, Marsha. Actually, that tiara looked similar to the elf thing. I mean, they're different, but it looked like the same kind of design. Very cool. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for the gifts. Appreciate it. So the Supreme Court has agreed to hear the lawsuit about Trump's tariffs, whether they're legal or not. They're doing it as an expedited case, so they will hear the arguments next month. In 2 months, in November. They'll probably reach a decision by the end of the year. For the U.S. Supreme Court, that's very quick. Like normally the decisions wouldn't come out until later in the year. Oh, thank you for the sorting hat, Cheryl. I call it a sorting hat, but and you guys are going crazy again today, Annie. Thank you. Yeah. So anyway, we'll find out what happens with the tariffs, whether they're legal or not. There was a very weird quote. I've got let me see if I've got the audio here. I may or may not. I never know whether the videos transfer to the iPad or not. Trump gave a really weird. I'm not going to have it. Shoot, I'm probably not going to have it here. Trump gave a really weird quote about domestic violence, and it was really creepy and totally Trumpy. Videos. Let's see. I don't think I've got it here though. Shoot, it's on I hate this because it's on my phone. It's like on my phone and my other iPad, but I'd have to, let me look here. Yeah. I don't know why it's not, Oh, well, whatever. I mean, it's not synchronizing on this computer, and I don't know why. It's kind of annoying me. I don't know whether I've got it signed in differently or what. Too bad. It's not on here. So, yeah, what's going on is Trump is talking, and he's complaining about, like, crime in D.C. And, he sent the National Guard to deal with crime in Washington, this kind of thing, right? Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Tarad. And he says actually, I can pull up my TikTok video. I can pull up my own TikTok video and play you the audio. Let's do that. That'll work. Hold on here. It's a very weird quote, and I want you to hear the whole thing. All right? Hold on.
Trump just defended domestic violence.
All right, hold on.
I want you to listen to this tape, and we're going to talk about this.
Okay.
There's no crime. They said crime's down 87%. I said, no. It's more than 87%. Virtually nothing. And much lesser things that take place in the home they call crime. They'll do anything they can to find something. If a man has a little fight with the wife, they say this was a crime, see? So now I can't claim 100%.
To be clear, Donald Trump
said. So did you get that? Trump is upset that the crime figures haven't come. Basically, Trump is admitting the crime figures haven't gone down in Washington. And he's upset about it. And he claims the reason the crime figures haven't gone down in Washington, thank you for the Sunday Bull, Marsha, since he sent the military into Washington, is because people count domestic violence as a crime, and Trump says it shouldn't be a crime. And if you don't count domestic violence, then crime has gone down significantly in Washington, he claims. I don't know where he even gets this from. I have no idea where he even gets this from. He calls it a little thing in the video. That's why I wanted to play the video, because it's so crazy. He calls domestic violence, it's a little thing. It's not even really a crime when a man does this to his wife, he says. They simply have a fight. Now, he's lying. There is literally no circumstance in which a man has a fight with his wife and he's charged with a crime where he did not do something really bad like hit her, basically. There is no circumstance. This is America. Quite literally, you do not get arrested for having a verbal fight with your wife. You don't. It doesn't happen. He's lying. He's making it up, and he's minimizing domestic violence. As is usual with Trump, it kind of makes you wonder. Thank you, Deb, for the gift. It makes you wonder about what Trump is like in private if he thinks this, right? Thank you, Marsha. If he thinks it's just a little thing, domestic violence. Very scary stuff. But I had to play you the tape because you just have to hear the tape to appreciate how bad that was, right? So Epstein. Republicans, of course, what a surprise. Republicans have totally jumped on board now, the Trump bandwagon. They no longer want to hear about the Republicans in Congress no longer want to hear about Jeffrey Epstein. They don't care about the client list. They don't care about the files. They're calling it a hoax as well. They claimed that they're claiming that Donald Trump's gift to Jeffrey Epstein when he drew a little picture for Epstein is a fake, they're saying now. Thank you, Marsha. Clearly the signatures are the same. I mean, let me put it this way. If it's a fake, it's one of the best fakes I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to see. Hopefully I've got some of the pictures at least. Let's see if I've got the pictures to show you, because the paper decided to take a bunch of different, the picture I still have, I think. The paper decided, here we go, a bunch of the different signatures. So here are Trump's signatures, okay? This is the birthday book for Jeffrey Epstein, okay? This is Trump in 2001 to Giuliani, 1998 letter to Giuliani. I got to tell you, it looks like the same guy. I mean, it looks exactly like the same guy wrote all four of these, right? Trump is saying it's a fake. Somebody went back in time 22 years and put a fake. Mind you, he was friends with Epstein at the time. So why would someone do a fake, right? 22 years ago, what? Because future Donald Trump is going to be president and they want to fake a Jeffrey Epstein signature on a birthday gift? Mind you, why would they have to fake it? Because Trump was friends with Epstein. I mean, that's actually the real quote for Trump too, is, oh, it was a fake. So you're saying you wouldn't have signed the birthday gift for Epstein? Oh, no. But you were his friend at that point. Why wouldn't you have signed the birthday gift? Oh, he was a bad. No, you didn't know he was a bad man until a couple years later. You admitted once you found out he was a bad man, you claimed you kicked him out of your club. That was years later. So you were friends with him at the time. Why wouldn't you have signed the birthday gift when you were friends with him? Right? Or are you lying? Thank you, Carrie, for the balloons. Right? I mean, it's always a lie. It's always a lie. So Trump said today, he's not commenting anymore about the Epstein stuff now. Thank you, Larissa. He's no longer commenting about Epstein. Hold on. We're giving you the freebie with this one. Wait. There we go. I don't comment on something that's a dead issue. I gave all comments to the staff. It's a dead issue. It's a dead issue? Jeffrey Epstein? Mind you, remember last week it was a Democratic hoax. Now it's a dead issue. Now, Trump is learning something. A couple days ago, when Jeffrey Epstein's victims were on Capitol Hill coming to Congress to lobby for the release of the files and justice and for Trump to stop coddling Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice. Remember, Donald Trump moved Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, from a high security prison to a low security prison where she's now in a woman's only prison. And she's got basically the lowest security you can have. I even read that she's allowed to leave the prison for work, which is pretty wild. Thank you, Larissa. Thank you, Marianne. She's allowed to leave. She's got some kind of work she does. She's able to leave prison. Why is he coddling this woman? Right? Why is he coddling? So the women were lobbying. Jeffrey Epstein's victims were lobbying Congress saying, we don't want you to coddle his accomplice, and we want you to release the files like you promised, Donald Trump. And Trump accused them, the women who were his victims. Thank you for the maple leaves, Marsha. Trump accused the women who were Jeffrey Epstein's victims of being part of a Democratic hoax. Right? Oh, the meteor shower. Did I miss the meteor shower? Hang on. Did I miss a meteor shower? I'm scrolling up here. I will trust the mods on this one. There's a meteor shower from Succeed. I'm sorry. Oh, you know what? I was dealing with the Trump thing. Thank you, Succeed. Well, the meteor shower is, which one is it? I can't tell. What's the meteor shower? I can't even tell what these things are. They're too small for me. Is that an Ask Me Anything? Oh, Ask Me Anything. Okay. Go ahead and ask me anything. Let me finish the Epstein story really quick, and then we'll do the Ask Me Anything. Okay. And again, it's Ask Me Anything-ish. Remember, so I get to veto it. This is TikTok, especially keep it G-rated, but so Trump accused these women on Friday of being part of a Democratic hoax. And of course, I told you at the time that was going to make the story huge. His staff got to him and said, you literally made it a bigger story by accusing his victims of being a Democratic hoax, Jeffrey Epstein's victims. You need to stop talking about it. That's why he's now saying, I'm not talking about it anymore. Hey, Dario. Except by not talking about it, he's talking about it, right? He didn't just say no comment, or not even better. He just should have ignored the question. But he didn't ignore the question. He said, it's a dead issue. I'm not going to talk about it because it's a dead issue. A dead issue? What the hell does that mean? A dead issue? It's not a dead issue. So the issue is not going away. I hope Trump supporters keep pushing this because it's pretty sick. Trump's supporters, his big supporters like Charlie Kirk and those guys and all the people in Congress are now saying, oh, clearly it was a fake signature. It was clearly a fake signature that somebody put on the birthday gift for Trump, for Epstein from Trump 22 years ago. Someone faked Trump's signature, even though Trump was friends with Epstein and wouldn't have a problem giving him a gift because he was friends with him. But oh well. All right. What's the question for me? And who was it again? It was Succeed, I think, right? I think so. Any questions or no? Sorry, remember for the TikTok gifts, certain categories of gifts, they get me to do something for them. TikTok set it up this way. So the Succeed, you got one or not? We could wait if you remember later, but I just don't want to miss it. You sent it to me? I don't know what that means. How did you send it to me? You mean you typed it on here? If you typed it on here, maybe type it again really quick. Scroll back. Oh, God. This is not. Oh, God. All right. Scrolling back never works. I will try, but it's not. There's too much on the screen typically for me to scroll back, but let me see. It's usually not a good thing to scroll back because I can't actually looking at the screen. It's too hard, and also my screen keeps bouncing. Oh, they're going to be on CNN again. Oh, you're funny. I did see that question. I thought about it. The CNN question. Is that what you mean? That's the one. Okay. I did see, what's funny? I didn't see the gift. I saw the question and I thought, oh, that's really interesting. But I was in the middle of explaining something. But that's funny. I did see your question. No plans to be on CNN because CNN has to ask me. What is difficult about going on the news, two different things. One, you do need to have a hook. Like they like you to be part of an organization. Being on my own kind of works, but it's still a little confusing. Although host of the Aravosis Report, I guess, maybe. The second thing is you kind of have to know people there. I don't know anybody. CNN, by the way, is one of the best news outlets, if not the best news outlet in the world. It's certainly, I would say they're the best news outlet in terms of international news. They really are. I mean, CNN is really one of the fairest, most objective, smartest news outlets in the world. Unlike Fox News and the other kind of crazy partisan fake news outlets, CNN is amazing. But you have to know somebody there. And I don't really know anybody there anymore, meaning the producers. The producers get to know you, and then you go on, and then you get to go on again and again and again. And the producers I knew, I did a lot of CNN in the past, but the producers I knew years ago moved on, and then it became like, oh, well. But yeah, CNN, literally one of the best news outlets in the world, one of the only places, well, not the only places. You'll get the truth from a lot of good news outlets, CNN, ABC's, NBC, CBS, Washington Post, New York Times, all of these will give you the truth. You obviously shouldn't be reading stuff like, Fox News or watching that or the crazier stuff like Newsmax and OAN and stuff. I mean, basically they're outlets of the Republican Party, really. BBC, I don't mind the BBC. Brits always complain to me about the BBC. I've never seen anything bad about the BBC, but the Brits always complain about it. But I like the BBC. So, hey, Electric in Scotland. So anyway, but I like the BBC. But like I said, the Brits complain about it sometimes. Yeah, Scott Jennings is kind of annoying. I agree. But, we've got to stand up and defend objective news because there's a part of the country that no longer believes that the truth matters. And that's why they like the news outlets they watch, not news outlets. They watch and honestly, they watch, it's not news. They watch entertainment. It's political entertainment networks where all they do all day is get lied to, really, in many ways. And that's why Fox had to pay almost $1 billion settlement. Was it 780 million more or less settlement? Because they lied about the election to their own viewers. And even worse, the Fox hosts admitted in writing that they were lying to their viewers. They literally admitted in text messages and emails that they were lying to their viewers, and then they went public and lied to them. But unfortunately, there's a segment of the population out there that doesn't care that they're getting lied to repeatedly. And that's too bad because I think people are deserving of the truth. So there. Anyway, let's get moving here. The economy is in worse trouble. Bureau of Labor Statistics issued a revision that there were 911,000 fewer jobs than first reported for the year ending in March, meaning the economy wasn't as good last year as we thought it was. That's problematic going forward. It means a few things. One, it makes it more likely that the Federal Reserve is going to cut interest rates to a degree. But it also means we could be in trouble with Trump's tariffs because it means the economy isn't doing as well. So Trump's tariffs could really tip things into recession pretty badly. So not good news, no matter how you look at it. An Associated Press NORC poll found a partisan split on the issue of Trump sending the National Guard into Democratic cities. Mind you, he's only doing it to Democratic cities. 82% of Republicans, 30% of Democrats approve of using the U.S. military and the National Guard to help the police. Only 51% of Republicans support the military taking control of local law enforcement. This I thought was interesting. Even for Republicans, wildly supportive of sending the military in to fight crime. Again, totally illegal under U.S. law, but that's fine. And very dangerous in terms of U.S. constitutional law. But Republicans are split 50-50 on whether the military should take over for local police, because that's when things start to get really scary. Because when the military takes over for the police, all of a sudden they're literally now in charge. And now you got martial law. The scary part is only half of Republicans have a problem with that. The other half of Republicans were in this poll said, yeah, great, do it. Oh, this is a crazy story too. So you remember part of Trump's larger effort to overturn the election in 2020 was this fake elector scheme. There's an update on that today that I want to talk about. Thank you, adventurers. It's a little complicated to explain, but basically the reason January 6th, the reason they tried to overthrow the government on January 6th is because January 6th is the day, every election, presidential election, that the election results are certified, okay? That basically every state, our elections are state-based here. We don't do a national election for president. We do state elections. So you've got to win each state and you get certain points depending on the state you win. It's not just a national, as you guys know, it's really confusing here, right? It's not just whoever gets the most votes wins. State by state. Each state has to report its results to Washington. Now, they do that something like December 13th or something. I forget exactly. Our elections are in November. Mid-December, the state reports its results to Washington. And then on January 6th, Washington, the Congress, certifies those results state by state. Arizona had this result, and they say, okay, yeah, great. Minnesota had this result. Okay, great. It was that process of going through the roll call of the states, going through the results of each state's election that Trump's supporters tried to stop. They were trying to literally overthrow the government, stop the election from being certified, stop Joe Biden from being elected, in essence. Well, one of the ways they tried to do that, an ancillary way on the side they tried to do that was Republicans in several states tried to send fake electors to Washington. So when they reported the results to Washington, they reported fake results. And what they did was, and the judge today let them off the hook in one state. The judge said, yeah, I'm not going to punish him for it. What they did was, you have a state that Joe Biden won, okay? Joe Biden wins the state. Trump supporters in the local state legislature, they have to report the election results to Washington. Trump supporters and the local Republican supporters in the legislature reported fake results to Washington. Instead of reporting that Biden won that state, they reported that Trump won the state. Totally fake. Well, they got sued for fraud, basically saying they were defrauded because they had to sign federal documents. Like literally, you were swearing to the federal government that this was true. They lied. Trump did not win these states. Well, the judge today threw out the case against them in at least one state because, and this is the one that kills me, she saw no intent to commit fraud. Listen to this quote. Whether they were right, wrong, or indifferent, they seriously believed there were problems with the election. I believe they were executing their constitutional right to seek redress. So because they seriously believed there were problems with the election, and there weren't. There were not. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's not debatable. There were no problems with the election. No significant problems with the election at all. The investigations were done. Nothing. 61 court cases. Trump lost. Nothing. Okay? Because they sincerely believed Donald Trump won, it was okay for them to lie to the federal government about the election results, she claimed. I thank you. Holiday Rob says, I seriously believe the bank has $500,000 of my money. Exactly. I just can't even. Now, I will say as a lawyer, the thing is, I don't practice. I have a law degree from Georgetown, but I don't practice law. Obviously, I do politics for a living. Oops, I need to put my fleece on the window so that the light doesn't hit the screen. The only thing I will say is, and somebody who's a practicing lawyer will have to tell me, if you're going after somebody for fraud, I don't know if, and I suspect it is, one element has to be that you knew you were lying, because the whole idea of fraud is you're trying to trick someone, right? So what the judge is saying is, oh no, they believed what they were doing was accurate. There was no, thank you, Jeffrey. There's no intent, is what she's saying. That they believed the election was stolen. They believed they were reporting the accurate election results to Washington, that Trump really won. And if they believed it, they weren't trying to trick anyone. They thought they were telling the truth. Again, if any of you are practicing lawyers, like in, criminal law or whatever, I don't know. Is this a valid argument? I mean, is it unique because they're going after them for fraud, that maybe the judge can get away with saying, well, it's really not fraud. Even if you're wrong, it's not fraud if you think you're right. I don't know. It seems a little weird to me. Well, the only thing is, but for fraud, you clearly don't have intent. The only problem is, well, I know I shouldn't say you don't have intent. That's not really entirely true, right? Because your intent was to report these things to Washington. I would argue, here would be my counter argument, okay? Here's my counter argument. I think what Dee just said, it's a bunch of wordplay. That's my thought. My thought would be not did you believe what you were saying was true? That's typically, the law doesn't say that. Now, again, I don't know fraud in this case. What the law typically says is, did you reasonably believe? They don't say, did you believe? You often have to say, did you reasonably believe? Right? So the question, I would argue, potentially ought to be not, did you believe that Trump really won? Did you reasonably believe Trump won? Did you reasonably believe? Would a reasonable person believe Trump won? No. Would a reasonable person believe that they were reporting the correct results to Washington, that everyone certified was Biden, right? But in your state, even though your own state people said Biden won, you believed it was Trump. Would a reasonable person have believed that? I don't think so. So, but again, I don't know with fraud law whether it's reasonableness standard or not. Who is that? Taylor, thank you for the galaxy. I think that gets you a goat. We've not done the little goat in a while. We'll do the small screaming goat. My Greek goat. One more. Thank you. This reminds me of a Friends episode I was watching recently where Ross is playing his bagpipes. And he goes, come on, you know this song, sing along. And he's playing the bagpipes and it's going, ee. And Phoebe starts to go, not Phoebe, Phoebe starts to go, as she's singing along. I feel like, anyway, thank you for that. That was very sweet of you. Thank you for the gift. But yeah, Phoebe, sing along. She was always my favorite. God, I mean, that show in general was great, but she was absolutely my favorite. Anyway, all right. Oh, a small dino. Cool. Or maybe it's a baby dino. That baby dino's a nice one too. Thank you, Carrie. That was a very nice gift. Appreciate that. So anyway, yes, actually, I'm going to adjust the temperature one little bit here because it's getting a little potentially warm in here. Let me see. When the sun starts setting, it starts to come in differently, and I've always got to adjust the temperature a little bit in my apartment. Let's go down 1 degree. Hopefully that's not going to be too much. I think that'll be okay. So Israel news, you may have seen Israel. I will say this. I want to know more about this story. It's a little bit of a weird story. Israel attacked Hamas leadership in Qatar, the government of Qatar, or the state of Qatar today. Pissed off a lot of people, even pissed off Trump, which is interesting. The Trump administration was not happy about this. Basically, since 2012, 2013 or so, 2012, Hamas's political leadership has been like hiding out in Qatar. There was a terrorist attack against Israelis yesterday that Hamas took credit for. Keep in mind, right? I mean, that makes it a little muddier. And the Israelis responded by blowing up the Hamas leadership in Qatar. The problem, of course, is that Qatar is an independent country, and you don't really go blow it up. Qatar is a decently moderate. I mean, they're a kingdom or whatever, but they're a decently moderate country. The U.S. relies on them. We've got our biggest military base in the region there, and this was also not particularly helpful towards advancing peace in the region, since the Israelis were trying to kill the peace negotiator of the Hamas. And at the same time, thank you, Taylor. Thank you. A couple of Taylor gifts. Thank you, Taylor. Donna Eggert. Not terribly helpful. Interestingly enough, listen to this from Trump spokesperson Caroline Leavitt. You know, that woman. Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the U.S. that is working very hard in bravely taking risks with us to broker peace. Okay, that wasn't English, but ignore that. Does not advance Israel or America's goals. No, I mean, she didn't really speak English correctly there, but she basically criticized Israel and said what they did not advance our goals. That was, I mean, criticism from Trump, or his people at least, is surprising. I will say that. That surprised me. Having said that, Hamas is a terrorist group. They are. But bombing Qatar probably doesn't advance the peace agenda too much. I would say probably not. Not a great move if you're interested in peace. Anyway. All right, what else we got? The Missouri House voted Tuesday to approve a new congressional map that seeks to eliminate a Democratic-controlled U.S. House seat. They still have to have the vote in the Missouri, the Missouri Senate by the weekend. Basically, this is part of Trump's overall campaign where he asked Republicans around the country to steal seats from Democrats in Congress in order to stop Democrats from winning the next election, because current polls look like Democrats may take control of the House in the next election. So Trump told Republicans to go and just steal the seats now so that Democrats lose the election. Very scary stuff. All right, Ukraine. There is some Ukraine news. Kyiv Independent. Russia has lost nearly 300,000 troops in 2025. I'm going to assume that means casualties, which is dead or wounded. So it's not just troops that were killed. 300,000 troops that were wounded or killed, but that's still a huge amount. Let me see here. Although Moscow does not publicly disclose casualty figures, Ukrainian officials say Russian losses are roughly 3 times higher than Ukraine's. Since the start of the war, Russia has lost more than 1 million troops, with about 30% of those casualties in the past 9 months. So that's interesting. So yes, so basically Russia's lost about 1 million troops, but a third of them just this year alone in the last 9 months, which is accelerated from where it was before, which is interesting. European Union. Oh, this was good news. European Union has delivered 80% of the promised artillery shells it was going to deliver to Ukraine. Remember, the Europeans had promised to deliver 2 million artillery shells. 80% of them have now been delivered. 100% should be delivered by October, so that's good. And the Brits are funding thousands of long-range attack drones for Ukraine. They'll be manufactured in the UK and delivered to Ukraine within the next 12 months, according to the British defense minister. So that's good too. All right, that's it for the news. Let's hang. I'm going to move my stuff again so I can sit back and relax. But as always, we're still here for a while. Good half hour or so. But this way I can relax and we can chat about whatever you like. There we go. It gets hot in here and then it got cold. I hate that. It's just like one or the other. Anyway, thank you, Rosie, for the TikTok. Thank you, Flamingo, as well, for the roses. Anyway, oh my God. Oh, so what else, guys? What else is going on? Big Pink Bird Lady. I've told Vlad. Vlad was invited back on. His wife was kind of sick, so he didn't want to come back on yet because his wife was kind of sick. So he was taking care of the daughter on Saturdays. So I don't want to harass him into it. He may be busy with work and stuff too. What time did I start today? The usual time, 6 o'clock Eastern. So 36 minutes ago. Sky News reporting Russian drones going across Polish airspace. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, Spock on Earth? Oh, that's funny. I'll have to check that out. Spock on Earth. That's funny. Hold on. I'm trying to look for looking for a pen or something. I'll write that down and check it out. Spock on Earth. All right. I'll try to check that out later if I remember. That sounds interesting. Anyway, what are the safe Republican cities? Yeah. UFO that was blown up but continued to fly? No. Was there one? Do we believe that? Crazy stories from when I worked in the Senate? Probably. I mean, I've told them, like I told my Rudy Giuliani story. We also had the sexist story. That was crazy when I like witnessed just blatant 2 different sexist stories. Oh my God. One of them was that horrible man from Florida, the Italian American, DeFazio, right? Big guy, Italian, Florida. French kissed a friend of mine who was a staffer. She was working at the CIA, was on loan to our office, and we go to this reception, and he's there. I think it's, hold on, I don't want to get the name wrong. I think it's DeFazio. I don't want to get it wrong. Italian American, Florida, overweight guy, late 1980s, early 1990s. Let me pull this up and make sure it's DeFazio, but I know it is. Oh, thank you for the galaxy. 1 second. Well, this is funny. It's not pulling him up anymore. Congress. 1 second here. The galaxy is, the goat's great. We'll do the other goat. We'll do the big goat then. One more. I did not say de Blasio. No, that would be the former governor of New York or whatever he was. This is DeFazio. It's not DeFazio. I knew it. It's not. Thank God I caught myself. It's not DeFazio. Oh, what is his name? No, it's another. Come on. Nerds, congressional nerds. I don't want people guessing. Congressional nerds, you know who you are. Late 1980s, early 1990s, overweight, short, big, overweight guy, Italian American, Florida. Typical Italian last name. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. Big face, big guy. Somebody will know. My friend Damien would know. Let me ask ChatGPT. I'm trying to remember the name of an Italian American congressman from Florida in the late 1980s, early 1990s. I believe he was chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Democrat. Who was he? He was chair of the Dante Fascell. It's going to be Dante Fascell. You wrote Gasell and you made me think Fascell wrote it. That's exactly who it was. Dante Fascell. That's him. So, all right, let me pull this up. I'm going to show you his picture. Yeah, that's him. So, there he is in all his glory. We're at an event on the House side with this friend of mine who's CIA, Italian American, and she is very excited because she wants to go. He's the chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, which is a huge deal, right? Huge deal. And he's Italian American and she's super Italian. And he's always been a hero of hers. You're right. So she goes, I'm going to go over and say hi to him and introduce myself. Oh, you should. That's great. Right. Because again, he's a hero of hers. And she goes up to it. She comes back to me and she's got her hand on her mouth and her eyes are full of tears and she's not speaking. And I said, what's going on? And she's just like choked up. But I mean, she's clearly upset and not speaking. And she goes, and she's literally talking to me with her hand in front of her mouth. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, he just French kissed me. And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, he stuck his tongue down my throat. I said, what are you talking about? She goes up to him and she says, she's very upset. She calmed down a little so she could tell me. And she goes, I walked up to him and I said, Congressman, Fascell, I'm so-and-so. I'm Italian American too. I work at CIA. I am one of your biggest fans. You've always been a hero to me. And he goes, honey, come here and give me a little kiss. So or give me a little hug. She goes to give him a hug. He turns his face right to her lips and sticks his tongue down her throat, quote unquote. I mean, and I told her, I said, we need to tell somebody. And she said, no. And I don't blame her at the time though, because I did. I was like, no, this is not acceptable. She said, John, he's the chairman of the committee overseeing my agency, the CIA. I'm going to report the chairman of my entire agency for assaulting me, sexually assaulting me. And she didn't do it, which I don't blame her really, because it's basically not only something a woman has to go through, but it's 1991 or so. And you've got to worry about hey, get in here. What are you eating? Are you kidding me? And you've got to worry about about whether your agency is going to get you in trouble. She's worried about herself getting in trouble because she's putting her agency in trouble. Really sickening stuff. Yeah. Even now, I'd be worried about it, right? Right. But back then, 30 years ago, man, it was horrible. And I mean, of course, I believe her. I mean, in tears. She told me she was going and she came back in tears, hand on her mouth, couldn't speak. I mean, oh no, he died. Horrible, absolutely horrible. No, I couldn't. I mean, as a guy, you don't experience that kind of stuff often, put it that way. I mean, you might, but not that often. But oh my God, like, oh, horrible. Nice woman too. Loved her. Just really, really liked her a lot. Neat woman. I'm sure she's still around. She was about my age. She probably is still around. I wish I could remember her name. Loved her. But horrible, absolutely horrible. So that was my Hill story. So I have good stories too, but that was a bad one. That was a very bad one. Anyway. Exactly. Annoys me. Well, no, Sasha decided to go on the balcony and eat stuff again, which I hate. Like, I like to let her out because she likes to go out and stuff. So I'm like, okay. But then she starts eating stuff like anything, leaves, sticks, anything you can find. And then she gets sick. And I'm like, I really don't need you to be doing that. Oh yeah, no, but imagine, I mean, like I said, it was gross. I mean, and she goes, he stuck his tongue down my throat. And I said, what? I mean, I will never forget that, quote unquote. I will never forget that quote. It's like, oh God. Yeah. I wouldn't say her name anyway, of course. Yeah. Obviously. But oh my God, horrible. Wow. Now, that's it. See, now Manana, I will say, Manana said in 2010, she was sexually harassed by her boss at a huge bank. She was told by HR it was her fault. Now, I will say, now we have a way of getting even with that because you go public. You hire a lawyer and or go public and you'll win. Not you win, but they've got to be careful. But even 15 years ago, they might have thought they could get away with it more, Very sad stuff. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure she was licking something off the couch. She does that. Yeah. She likes to lick the ottoman because she thinks I don't think I drop food on there, but she thinks I do. So she literally sits there and is like licking the couch. And I'm like, seriously? I mean, I try to stop her when I see it, but I mean, like, really? Anyway. Yes. No, I was yelling because I saw her eating something on the balcony. I'm like, oh my God. Unbelievable. 2 Shaheeds were shot down over Poland, and now one of the Shaheeds is heading to the largest logistics hub. It's still going on? Let me look and see. I mean, that's pretty bad if it's still... Now, mind you, it's the kind of thing the Russians would do just to kind of push buttons, Let me see the people I'm following. Actually, let me go to my Ukraine section because this should have updates if it's... Yeah, 5 Russian kamikaze drones violated Polish airspace, 20 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. That's 13 miles maybe. The drones, I'm reading this from Cyril Amursky, who's a French reporter. The drones appear to be approaching the village of, oh God, Szczecin. I don't know. I can't speak Polish. According to non-confirmed sources, they have been shot down. Wow. That's pretty bad. Yep, the airport's been closed due to unplanned military activity related to ensuring state security. Major drone incursion into Poland ongoing. That's pretty bad. I mean, multiple Russian drones coming into Poland. That's very bad. Hold on. Wow. Hold on a second. Hold on, just trying to see what else the we need to get more details of this, of course. 3 or more have flown into Poland. Multiple Russian drones. Entered Polish airspace from Ukraine. It was like 20 minutes ago. Not having any more details on this, though, from what I'm finding. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Just looking here for anything else. That's pretty bad. I mean, especially multiple. Now, they're going to still try to claim, and Trump, it's no big deal. Let's see what Trump does. So far, just multiple drones. Nearly 100 are in Ukrainian airspace. 3 entered Poland reportedly. Wow. NATO Polish air defenses are engaging. Now, mind you, why would the Russians do this? They would do it to test NATO air defenses. If the Russians ever go to war with NATO, they want to know how well NATO would do against a drone invasion. So you fire some drones in, 3 drones, and see if NATO can take them down or not, right? If the Poles can't take them down, how far do the drones get? That gives you an idea of how far the drones might get. So very scary stuff. Very scary. I think, and also, by the way, Russia's not stupid. They know the Poles aren't going to go to war with them. They know NATO's not going to go to war. Remember, I told you this is where Putin does stuff that are technically acts of war, but they're still so small that they're not small, but they're not worth going to war over. So even when Putin he's burned down shopping malls in Poland, right? He has, but it's not worth going to war over, so they don't. So that's why he's doing this. He's screwing with the Poles. He's trying to say, I can, and they're testing what the Polish response is, what the Polish weaponry is to respond to drones, radar, all sorts of different stuff. Very scary stuff here. See if the other people I follow are talking about this at all. No, it's just it's in my Ukraine section. Yeah, wow. Yeah, nothing else. No, nothing else here. All right. Oh, we shall see. Oh, yeah. There's no more news on the Polish stuff because I follow, like I said, a bunch of different Ukraine Twitter feeds. So, well, I mean, yeah, I don't know if anybody will take action or not against the Russians on this stuff. That's pretty bad, though. I mean, now what the Poles could do, and again, Biden wouldn't have liked it, but what the Poles should have done, the Poles, as soon as one of the drones hit Romania, NATO should have said, I'm sorry. You know, because imagine they multiple times Russian drones went into Romania. I'm sorry, your drones are entering our airspace. We're going to have to shoot them down now. So any Russian drones that get within 100 miles of NATO airspace are going to be shot down. And all of a sudden you start, and again, it's something the Russians would do, right? The Russians would say, imagine we're the Russians. Oh no, we're not putting troops in Ukraine. We're simply saying that your weapons don't seem to work very well and they keep entering our airspace. So we're going to put our weapons in Ukraine to simply shoot down your weapons before they come to our airspace. We're not getting involved in the war. We're just defending our territory against your obviously malfunctioning weapons. You should be thanking us. And that's what you do. That's what you do to piss them off. And watch Putin get upset and go, you're upset that I'm putting in some anti-drone technology to take out your weapons before they hit our territory? You should be thanking me, right? Because clearly you're not doing it on purpose, right? It's clearly an accident and it's something you can't control, because if you could control it, it wouldn't be happening. So per se, you need my help. You're welcome. That's what I would do. So we don't know yet. At best, people are saying too, we don't know any more information on what's going on with the drones. But that's what I would have been like, fine. You know, anything comes within 50 miles or 100 miles or whatever of a NATO border, take it down. You know? Yeah, Ursula. No, it's very risky, but even that, it's defensive. We're not going after Russian pilots. We're simply taking down drones. We're going to have anti-aircraft weapons. And just as long as the Russians make sure nothing comes into that air corridor, they'll be fine. And what you've done, by the way, is you've now set up an air corridor, a no-fly zone along Ukraine's border with NATO. Oops, right? But we wouldn't even have to call it that. We just say, no, we're helping. We're doing it. We're actually doing it as a favor to the Russians because their technology clearly doesn't work very well and they need help. Because if it's clearly not on purpose, because that would be an act of war. So it must be that the Russians just can't control their poor technology. So we're going to help them by setting up anti-aircraft weapons in Ukraine on the border. So, but we won't, because that even Biden wouldn't do that. I doubt Trump's going to do it. The Poles, you never know. The Poles might say that's it. You're not entering our airspace again. They ought to. So, the collapse of Nepal. I definitely have never talked about that, considering I have no idea what that even means. So did I get I did. Oh, Carol, I meant to write you back. I did get that. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I saw it last night, and then on Google, I put the thing that said, remind me in the morning. And then in the morning I forgot. So, but thank you for that. Yes. Anyway, protests in Nepal. I did not see that. What are the protests in Nepal about? Let me look. Protests in Nepal. Oh, there are protests in Nepal. Prime Minister resigns as Parliament burns. Hope the Chinese or the Indians don't invade. Let's see here. Nepal's military began deploying troops late Tuesday in Kathmandu after a day on which rampaging protesters set upon the South Asian nation's political elite, both in government offices and in their homes. A day after government forces opened fire on protesters, killing at least 19. Smoke billowed from fires set at Parliament and the Supreme Court in the capital, as well as from the homes of lawmakers. The wife of one former official was badly burned. Hotels and airports were attacked. The violence began on Monday, continued even after the Nepalese prime minister resigned, and the government retreated from a ban on social media platforms like WhatsApp that had incensed Nepalese already angry over official corruption. Let's see here. The chaos stemmed from a government ban issued last week on major social media platforms that lit a fuse on years of anger and frustration over corruption and economic inequality. Oh, interesting. Last week, the authorities banned 26 services, including WeChat, which I know is big in Asia, YouTube, and LinkedIn, which it said had failed to register with the LinkedIn and YouTube. By Tuesday morning, they were all back online. Wow. The demonstrators in Nepal, who appeared to be mostly teenagers and young adults, have embraced the label Gen Z protests. Free speech is prized in Nepal, which has maintained robust space for debate, as similar rights have shrunk in other South Asian countries. Interesting. Outrage has also been growing over economic inequality and what many Nepalese see as the government's failure to aggressively pursue high-profile corruption cases. Wow. That's kind of wild. That's actually a very interesting story. I was like, Nepal? That's kind of fascinating. Wow. Now, I'd like to know a little more what happened. So at least 22 people have been killed since government forces opened fire on protesters. That's never a good move. So the protesters turned around and set fire to the Supreme Court and the lawmakers' homes, understandably. Wow. Interesting. Wow. What a mess. Wow. That's wild. Wow, okay. That I did not know about that. That's fascinating. Did not know about that at all. Wow. So, yeah, really interesting. Huh. Oh, dog wants more water? Of course you do. We'll give the dog water and then a couple more minutes of this. One moment. All right, you a little bit more to go with your stick. Go with your disgusting stick. All right, there. She gets her bit of water to go with her stick. Nepal. So is where we were talking about. That's wild. Wow. Oh man, sorry. Still tired. TikTok community guidelines. Yeah, I heard TikTok's community guidelines are changing, but I have no idea what they're doing. Anybody know? What are they doing? What are they changing? I have no clue. So I just know like on the 13th that they changed. I was like, okay, well, not like I have much choice. You know what I mean? Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Sorry, just like reading stuff as we talk here. That's right. I was going to look and see just the Ukraine. Anything more about the drones? Nope, nothing more about the drones going into Poland. There's no updates. So I don't know that I don't know whether we'll get more information anytime soon. Very interesting though. Huh. Interesting. Well, there's lots of politics and current events, but we've been talking about it for an hour. We're already done. Somebody said no politics or current events. We've been doing an hour of it. So where do I look it up so quickly? I don't know. I mean, on Nepal, I just Googled Nepal protests. So where do I get my news from? All the good places. The birthday book. I haven't seen the rest of the birthday book. No. I heard there was more of it out there now. The Epstein birthday book. I just saw that. Although there's also like a Trump photo or something else that's out as well. I thought I read. No politics or current events. What are you talking about? No, I'm not going to believe that until we see it. No way. Why do you? I mean, where is it? Don't believe stuff people have told you. Find it. Find that for me, or you shouldn't be saying it. Seriously, you should not be even saying that unless you know for a fact it's true. Because you're freaking people out with that. That's not cool. Yeah, I'm not going to believe that until I see it. So what's your basis for claiming that? Yeah, don't repeat it if you're not sure it's true. Seriously, do not even be part of a rumor mill. Yeah. So there's literally nothing about it in the news. So yeah. Well, it's not out yet. So I don't know what terms and conditions mean. You've got the legal document in front of you. I mean, no, I mean, I just don't like people should not be repeating things that they've got. It's not out there unless they've got it in front of their faces. What's out there right now are rumors. I haven't seen nobody here so far has quoted me anything. So, no, I mean, that's the thing. We don't, unless you've got the document in front of you, it's not true. So, yeah, there's literally nothing in the news at all about TikTok's community guidelines. And the new ones, I don't even think are out yet anyway, until the 13th or whatever. I doubt they are. Oh, the check. That's right. The photo was a $20,000 check or something like that. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, TikTok's, oh, that's advertising policies anyway, so who knows? Yeah, so. Yeah, nothing that you guys are saying is terribly helpful. So, yeah. It's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like it when people repeat stuff when they have no idea if it's true, especially when it's incendiary stuff. I think that's not, again, maybe you're right, but the fact that nobody can point to any evidence of themselves being right is disturbing to me. So Their community guidelines are totally impossible to yeah, there's no way to even search the community guidelines. So yeah. Anyway. Yes, Nepal is, well, we know Nepal is in trouble. Yeah. Which took effect, except Manda, that's claiming the past tense for the future. Is that from ChatGPT or something from AI? Oh, per Google. The platform differentiates between organic political discussion and paid content, misinformation, or content that incites violence. Yeah. So that's nothing new. Yeah. They want authentic So at least according to that, I can ask ChatGPT, but I doubt it's going to have anything this new. Anyway, people are making claims that TikTok is banning politics. And as I said, unless you've seen the language, you shouldn't be believing that kind of thing. Because that, to me, could be true, but sounds like bullshit. People are claiming that TikTok's new community guidelines that go into effect. God damn it, what is this doing? Come on. Wait, now it's not going to work. People are claiming. Oh, now we're back to remember what I told you, like when the microphone won't work on the app, which drives me insane. We're back to the microphone not working on the app because I'm not going to type all of this in. Let's try this again. Testing. There we go. People are saying that the new community guidelines on TikTok ban discussions of politics. Do you know anything about any such thing? There's no way it's true. La la la. There is no new TikTok community guideline that outright bans political discussions. Political content is allowed organically. That's what Amanda said. TikTok allows users to share political content as long as it follows community guidelines. Paid political advertising is not allowed. We know that. They've always prohibited it. That's not surprising. This ban applies to paid content only, not organic posts or discussions. Restrictions for specific account types. Government, politician, and political party accounts face stricter rules. Interesting. So government, politician, and political party accounts can't use monetization features such as tipping, e-commerce, creator funds, or promotions. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. They're prohibited from soliciting campaign donations or using ads to push political agendas. Okay. Well, so far, that is absolutely nothing. So, yep. There you go. Like I said, not going to believe it until it happens. So, anyway. So. We shall see. But yeah, that sounds like BS to me. So anyway, what else? The statue behind me is fake, but cool. It's Mexican, but it says made in Mexico on the bottom. So, the Aztecs weren't exactly writing made in Mexico, but it's very cool because it used to stand in the lobby of the Citizens Bank in Washington, and the bank shut down 30 years ago. And one of my roommates was working there as a vice president, and they gave it to her. You want it? She was like, sure. So it's this really nice wood stand, and the statue it's a very pretty statue up there for YouTube and Discord. For TikTok, it's over here. It's a really pretty statue. But I wish it were real, because then it would be really, if it was Aztec and that big, it would be really cool. If it were really Aztec, I wouldn't have it that close to the curtains either. That thing would be like against the wall somewhere. But it's very cool, yeah. Mike says Italian Air Force airborne early warning aircraft are moving from Estonia further south because of the Russian drones crossing the border. Yes, Discord did not die on us today. That was a nice thing. That was nice. So, yes, we talked about the drone incursion. There wasn't really any update. Still kind of fog of war going on with regards to the drone incursion. I can look and see if there's anything else. Ukraine. Interesting. So, at least one additional drone left in the direction of Poland. So a French journalist says there's at least one more drone, but Jesus Christ. Just looking here. Oh, right. There's the Italian Air Force thing. Right. They're moving a airborne early warning plane down to Poland, which is a good idea. Yep. No other information about it. Just that the Russians appear to have flown several drones into Poland. It very easily could be on purpose. It could be an accident. Several drones makes it feel a little more on purpose. They could be doing it to be obnoxious. That's what they do. They could be doing it to test Polish defenses, because if you're ever going to go to war with Poland, you kind of want to know how quickly. This is why they test the airspace. Whenever the Russians enter our airspace and we have to escort them out, they're testing they're being dicks. That's part of it. But they're also testing our response. They want to know how quickly does it take for us to get our planes in the air, right? How far can they get into our airspace before we can stop them? That's useful. That's useful information. So they want to know just that, like how far can our drones go before Poland's able to stop us, which would be useful information for them to have. So, right, over the UK, they do it everywhere. Yeah. So I'm sure I hope we do it to them too. Yep. Flying Medic says, looking on my civilian and military radars, NATO jets are up. I would think, first of all, you don't have a choice. If Russia's sending multiple drones into Poland, you don't have a choice but to get NATO aircraft in the air, because you don't know what's the beginning of something. You know, are they going to take out? Is this an attack on Polish military depots? What if they decide to take out a huge amount of Ukrainian equipment that's sitting on the Polish side of the border? Knowing that, and then they would say, "Oh, we just blew up one factory. We didn't attack you. We just blew up one factory. That's it, right? No more. You're not going to go to war over that, are you? Right?" So scary stuff. Very scary stuff. Their intention is to be a dick, and their intention is to test the Polish defenses in case of an actual war. And their intent might be to create a real war. I mean, you've always got to be assuming that. Alexander, I ignore it because it's a troll topic, only brought up by people who are here to disrupt and be obnoxious, and people who didn't care about Ukraine until a poor Ukrainian woman got killed. Then they suddenly decided they cared about Ukraine. Some Ukrainian woman who is a refugee here in the US got murdered on the subway, and the Republicans are now pretending they care about Ukrainians because the guy who murdered her, at least from the photo, looked to be black, and suddenly they care. So they're trying to make it a big cause, like suddenly, mind you, the Ukrainian immigrants are getting kicked out by the Republicans. Donald Trump is literally kicking these guys out, like all the Ukrainian refugees. But at the same time, the Trump people are now claiming to embrace Ukrainian refugees because she got killed by somebody, because it fits into his crime agenda. So it's like, okay, the woman you were going to kick out, whatever. So yeah, somebody brought it up because they were being a troll. So anyway, almost done, I think, for the night, guys. There are no NATO jets. There are jets from NATO countries. There are no NATO jets. So, I mean, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But NATO doesn't have weapons, I believe. They're weapons from NATO countries. Now, they're assigned as part of a NATO contingent. So, that's a little different. But they wouldn't be a NATO jet with a NATO flag on it, and that's it. You wouldn't have that. Don't know anything more about who Israel actually got. They got the son of some leader, but we don't know beyond that. I didn't know there was a UFO hearing today. I didn't even know that. Was there? Really? UAP drives me crazy. We should just call them UFOs. Drives me a little crazy on that front. Hold on. UFO. I'm going to call it UFO because that's what I call it. UAP. I hear you, dog. Just wait. Okay, that's weird. BBC, missiles strike suspected UFO in newly released video. This was real? A video clip, BBC, a video clip showing what appears to be a missile being launched at an orb in Yemen was shown for the first time on Tuesday during a congressional hearing on unidentified anonymous phenomenon. In the air, the sightings of these phenomena are commonly referred to as UFOs. While being questioned, UAP journalist George Knapp said, that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and bouncing right off it, and it kept going. Now, that's nice, but I'd want more than a UFO expert telling us what this is actually about.
Where other property
All right, commercial. One moment. La, la, la. Oh, God, 25-minute advertisement, really? Well, I'm just going to turn the volume down, and we're not going to listen to your advertisement, BBC. Half a minute advertisement? That's a bit rude. That's a little rude. They know that it's a UFO thing. They can get away with it, I think. 7 seconds. We're almost there. Almost there. Unidentified aerial phenomenon. Yes. Hi, dog. Just wait.
This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb or this object off the coast of Yemen.
Stop.
You'll see that another MQ-9
Quiet.
launched a Hellfire missile, and I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly
Stop.
what it does.
Oh. That was interesting. Was it a break apart? What is it? What? And
This is when it zoomed out.
What, it keeps
You
going?
still see it traveling. Mr. Knapp, have you heard about
Okay, that was weird.
events like this occurring? And what information might you have?
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event.
I mean-
Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back.
A
We did
UAP
not have the
journalist?
video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild and it comes our way.
Maybe.
It should be going to you. The public
I
should
mean,
see this stuff.
He's a UFO journalist. That's his title. I want to believe this stuff, but UFO journalist guy is not exactly the witness I want to be hearing from. And that's literally his title, UFO journalist. It's like, okay, that's it. I mean, it's not like PhD from Cambridge or something. He's a UFO or UAP, but UFO journalist. Yeah, I want to be a UFO journalist too. That's my problem with that. So like, where did the video come from? I want to believe, but I'm not Scully. I'm definitely not Mulder, but I'm not Scully either. It might have been George Knapp. I don't know. But I told you my friend Garrett Graff wrote like the definitive book on all of this and basically said, I asked him about it. And I said, okay, give me the book in a nutshell. Did you find anything? And he said, I found a conspiracy. There has been a conspiracy. This is Garrett Graff, great journalist. He wrote like the book on UFOs a couple years ago. He said he's a great political journalist. He said there absolutely has been a government conspiracy to hide the information, but the information they're hiding does not at all prove that UFOs are aliens. He said there's no credible proof at all that UFOs are aliens, but for some reason, the government stupidly has been having a big conspiracy to hide what they do have. So that was his conclusion. But he said he found absolutely nothing credible. It's like, damn. I was hoping he'd be like, this is interesting. Not interesting at all. So anyway, yeah, we talked about the drones in Poland. Not good news. The Russians appear to have fired some drones into Poland, but we don't know. So we'll know more later. So I know I want to believe, but what do you do? All right, guys, I think we're going to call it quits here. It's 7:17. So yeah, interesting stuff though. Beam me up exactly after yesterday. I wore my Star Trek outfit yesterday too. You guys know I want to believe this stuff. So no, I'm actually I want to get Garrett on. Actually, that's a good idea. Anyway, we want to get Garrett on just to talk about that. Actually could get Garrett wrote an amazing book and article about 9/11 too. Last Plane in the Sky, I think it's called. Google it. It's a wonderful piece for The Atlantic or somebody. It was very good. Or Politico magazine or something. A very good piece. Last Plane in the Sky or something like that by Garrett Graff. Seriously, Google it about 9/11. Fascinating. But I should get Garrett to come on and have the UFO talk just for fun. Even though it's not politics. Right? Why not? Be fun. I think I will do that. Let me message. No, I will, because that would be just a fun thing to do. My 9/11 experiences, no, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I want to talk about my 9/11 experiences. I may put that under the ish category, because that 20 years later, it's 24 years later, and it still kind of freaks me out. I was in Washington. I was not loving that day. So it was kind of freaky. So yeah, I don't think I want to talk about that yet. I'm not there. But I will ask Garrett about UFO stuff. Maybe his 9/11 stuff too. We could do both probably. Maybe do his 9/11 stuff. I don't know. But certainly his UFO thing would be fascinating. So, all right, I'm gonna go, guys, and I'm gonna message him when we're done. All right, thank you, everybody. Good seeing you all. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the gifts as always. Up to 5 more UAVs heading to Poland. All right, well, we'll see. There's a lot of fog of war, too. I think we're going to find out in the next couple hours exactly what happened with Poland, how many of these guys know U-30, F-30. Clearly keep following this story, because there's something going on with this. But the problem is the news is coming in slowly. So, all right, YouTube, you're first. Goodbye. Discord.